So I just wanted to give an update on everything that's going on right now. It's December 2024, December 12th, 2024. And, a lot of this news, in the world right now, it's kind of, it's hitting us all at once, but it makes sense if you've been following me and you follow astrology, with the Pluto and Aquarius topic, especially. Like, we have the United Healthcare CEO that was just murdered in cold blood, like in the streets of New York. We have the Syrian toppling of Bashar al-Assad, and he's weak and has no power anymore, which almost seemed like impossible a few weeks ago, right? And then we have more accusations for the Diddy stuff. So as I had mentioned, Pluto and Aquarius is about power to the people or power to the fringes, and so this is kind of going on with that theme, right? And I mean, some of these surprises are even hitting me. For example, I just found today that Bill Belichick is going to be UNC's football coach. That's my alma mater, and I had no idea. That just moved so fast. And that's another theme, is that speed is increased because not only is Pluto in Aquarius, we're in an air age anyways, which started in December 2020 with the Saturn Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius, which is an air sign. And so the next 200 years, it's going to be in air signs. And so that's an air age. And the previous 200 years, it was the Industrial Revolution. It was an Earth age. And the last time we had a similar, this transition was 1286 onwards, so the Mongol Empire, and they were known for their offense and breaking down structures. That's usually how it is, because the empires are usually the Earth age, and then the breakdown of those empires are the air age, which also happened during the breakdown of the Roman Empire. That was famous, the time after that. But then also, if you go back even more, you have Alexander the Great, and once he died, that was the Earth to air shift, and we had the after the Macedonian Empire, it crumbled into different structures. It wasn't one powerful structure, and if you're pay attention to that theme, that's kind of going on in the world right now, in any field really, right? So this is why I think it's so useful to know this stuff, because otherwise you have no idea. It's too chaotic, right? But I think we can utilize that to our advantage, and be mindful that we're all going through some kinds of losses right now, that we're because we all have emotional attachments, right? And even I'm experiencing some losses that are painful, but you have to be mindful that and embrace what's going to replace that, because it's going to be even greater. So that's just something, I don't know if that's even helpful for you, but if you're going through something like that right now, you use that for encouragement, and know that you'll be fine. Mars is retrograde right now, along with Mercury. Mercury's going to station direct soon, but it's interesting because that Mercury's in a weird territory. It's in Jupiter's sign of Sag, and Mercury doesn't really do well here because it's just weird. It's Sag is a very fiery, kind of energetic Jupiterian sign, and it's not necessarily easy to do mercurial stuff here. And then on the same token, Jupiter is in Mercury's sign, Gemini, and so Jupiter is also having it's in a strange territory. But the fact that they're both in each other's signs gives them both hope, because they both it gives them a better sense than it would have had that not been the case. So they know they're kind of taken care of, but it's still kind of weird for them. And Mars, this Mars retrograde started in December 6th in Leo, and it's still in Leo right now. So it's about, Leo is about creativity, creative self-expression, creating your story. And we're reevaluating those kinds of things right now, because it's with the evolutionary arc of this cycle, it's transformation, particularly inwardly around our values and authenticity and how we relate to the world. And so we just had yesterday this Mars retrograde in Leo opposite the Venus in Aquarius, which had recently conjoined Pluto in Aquarius. So there's like a dynamic tension between what feels the most alive and real and authentic within me and how I am confronting my inner conditioning that either allows me to feel liberated to express that, or where I may repress that or hide that part of myself. So those are the issues that we're dealing with right now. But on January 6, 2025, it's going to go back into Cancer. And that's like the awareness of what type of emotions surround that original complex that comes up. So deep inner work right now. And I think it's useful to do that deep inner work because 2025 is going to be crazy. A lot of crazy energies. It's the start of the second half of this decade, which is going to be very young. And I think we're going to miss a lot of these times that we're kind of taking for granted right now. But anyways, with Mars in Cancer retrograde, if we're if we're feeling negative emotions and insecurities around our self-expression, that Mars in Cancer will be like, hey, this is where you need to grow and emotionally mature and strengthen this part of you. So that's something to keep in mind. And then it's interesting because you know how I just talked about that Mars opposite Venus that we had yesterday? Well, in February 23rd, 2025, when Mars stations to go direct again, it again has a tough aspect with Venus. It's a square because Venus will be in Aries. And with that, because squares both oppositions and squares are kind of tough, but with squares, it's more confrontational. So it gives you kind of like a plan to put like here's what you need to do moving forward, and here's so we'll have a better idea of that then. But basically, right now is a good time to just go inward and prepare and look at those scenarios and which battles are worth taking, which ones are not, and think of it relationally, because right now the nodes are still in Libra and Aries, but soon that's shifting too. And so that's another thing I wanted to talk about, is that there's two more aspects playing into this Mars retrograde cycle that are more subtle and nuanced, but more overtake. Like, it affects us all collectively, and once you know, because it is a big energy that's kind of like in the background. So first off is that North Node is going to be moving from Aries into Pisces, and it's going to conjoin Neptune. And this is going to happen while Mars is retrograde. So, and that Neptune is about to go into Aries, which is like a brand new cycle, right? But before it does that, it's that Neptune is going to conjoin this North Node and going to bring up more stuff that we need to break away from. Because Neptune on the North Node signals to us that there are deeper, outdated patterns of inspiration and meaning that we assign in our lives. We need that meaning in order to feel a sense of drive and connection to our reality and world. The Neptune archetype will show you where that pattern of meaning is dissolving within yourself, and where there's a new sense of meaning emerging within your life. And there will always be a duality at that moment regarding this Mars retrograde and the energy in general. So be prepared to have more decay come up, and progressive letting go of your emotional attachments to things that don't have meaning in your life anymore, even though you feel like they do right now. But this is going to tell you that, show you what you need to let go of. And sometimes those confrontations are not easy. The other big thing is that Saturn square Jupiter. These are the social planets. Saturn is the state, Jupiter is the church. Saturn is society, defines the laws and rules and regulations, whereas Jupiter is the types of cosmologies, belief systems that we use to justify the truths or rules that we put in place. And these two conjoined, as I said, in December 2020, but now we're at the square part of their cycle. So square is 90 degrees. Conjunction was 0 degrees. And at that point, there's developmental tension as well as growth around what types of, because now that we're kind of thrown into this new world, we value new things as a society that we didn't before. And then on the same token, what we valued before is no longer valuable. So that's how times change. You know how they say when you're looking back and you're seeing how someone did this thing and like now it's like unfathomable, well, you got to go back to that time and look at what that time period valued. And it's not, you can't do a simple conversion, right? Because we go through this. But basically your belief systems and reality and where you're feeling that lack of meaning, that's been impacting your capacity to feel that you emotionally resonate with yourself and your truth. You want those things to be in alignment, because and this is how the cosmology of the solar system is working with you to bring you in deeper harmony with that authentic sense of self. So yeah, it is a weird time right now, but I also think there's a lot of hope that we can foresee, and I hope you all are doing well. If you want a reading, fill out my form, or right now I have some open spaces actually, but yeah, feel free to comment below and anything that's on your mind. And thank you for tuning in, especially if you tune in this long. I appreciate you all. I wish you all well.